Simon the Zealot, or Simon the Canaanite, was one of the most obscure among the apostles of Jesus. A few writings were connected to him, but Saint Jerome does not include him in illustrations written between 392 and 393 AD. Simon the Zealot was bitten by a snake in his hand. He is healed by Jesus, who told the child, "You shall be my disciple." The mention ends with the phrase, Simon remains a man of mystery among Jesus Christ's 12 disciples. We will see why Bible scholars are still debating about this. It is interesting to note the Gospels of Matthew and Mark call him Simon the Canaanite, while the Gospels of Luke calls him Simon the Zealot. However, the difference doesn't change anything. Both names pretty much mean the same. He was a native of Galilee and not from the land of Canaan, as some suppose. Here, the word Canaan means to be zealous. It indicates he was zealous for the law of Moses. Canaan was also a slang term referring to anyone who belonged to a political faction called the Zealots. In the 1st AD, the Zealots, under the leadership of Judas of Galilee, earned for independence as a Jewish nation. They detested the threat of increased taxation during the census commanded by the governor, and consequently were dedicated to overthrowing Roman dominions. They further believed the Messiah would come one day as a mighty general who would help them achieve this victory. It was very likely Simon belonged to this freedom fighting group and was an active member when he responded to Jesus' call to discipleship. He may have also believed Jesus was the mighty general he expected. However, his attitude and beliefs about Jewish independence would have put him at great odds with some of the other disciples, such as Matthew, who collects taxes for the Roman government. It's obvious Jesus assembled a very diverse group. Whether called Simon the Canaanite or Simon the Zealot, some theories suggest his nickname may have stuck simply as a way of distinguishing from Simon the Peter. Most of the scholars believe he teamed up with Judas to spread the gospel throughout Persia and Egypt. But there are a lot of controversies about the death of Simon. According to Eusebius states that after Simon became the second bishop of Jerusalem, a statement that agrees Roman Emperor Trajan martyred him sometime during Trajan's period, the rule from 117 AD. Another tradition claims he died peacefully in Edessa. Author Jacobus wrote in 1275 that Simon was martyred in Persia by being sawed in half. This long believed story is why Saint Simon is often shown holding a saw in individual pieces of art. He was a very common man at the time. It's possible there was much confusion about which Simon was. Unfortunately, it means we don't really know whatever happened to him, though it seems observations of Hegesippus are the closest historically to Simon's time we can find. But even that is not conclusive. One thing we can conclude in Simon's zeal turned from overthrowing governments to following Jesus' teachings, despite the lack of mention in the Gospels. Simon the Zealot followed Jesus throughout Jesus' ministry and continued after the Lord's death and ascension. However, the only biblical evidence of this was his involvement in choosing a new disciple as a replacement for Judas Iscariot. Yet, despite the lack of clear verification, additional historical observations tell us he went on to proclaim the good news for the remainder of his life. Thank you. Thank you for watching.